Turning Pro by Stephen Schofield. Read by Jacob Green. This recording is a production of Dream Chaser Collective, created for the purposes of research, study, and discussion. The views and opinions expressed in this book belong solely to the author, Stephen Schofield, and may not always reflect those of Dream Chaser Collective and its associates. Chapter 1: The Decision to Turn Pro. There comes a moment in every person's life, whether in a quiet whisper or a loud, undeniable crash, when you realize it's time. Time to stop waiting. Time to stop wishing. Time to stop hoping. It's the moment you finally admit to yourself that you're ready to make the choice, you're ready to turn pro. It doesn't come with fanfare or fireworks, but in that instant, everything shifts. It's like standing at the edge of a cliff, feeling the wind rush through your hair, knowing that you have to leap. This is it, the decision that changes everything. Turning pro isn't about talent, luck, or some grand achievement. It's about the decision to commit. It's about choosing to show up every single day, regardless of how you feel, regardless of the obstacles that come your way. When you choose to turn pro, you stop waiting for life to give you permission to succeed. You stop thinking you're not ready, or not good enough, or not worthy. You stop wondering, what if? Instead, you act. You move. You become. And that's the first step toward greatness. Commitment is more than a promise you make to others. It's the sacred promise you make to yourself, and it's a vow you honor no matter what. A professional doesn't ask for permission. They don't wait for the stars to align. They commit to the process because they understand the process is the success. But it's not just about what you do in the moments of inspiration, when your energy is high and your dreams are clear. It's about what you do when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, and when doubt threatens to crush your spirit. The pro shows up every day, rain or shine. They act regardless of their mood, their fears, or the obstacles they face. This is the difference between amateurs and professionals. Amateurs wait for the perfect moment. Professionals create the perfect moment every time they step up. The amateur is constantly battling doubt and distraction. The amateur waits for the ideal time, for the world to hand them the opportunity on a silver platter. The amateur is ruled by fear, constantly looking for ways to avoid the hard work. They get distracted. They procrastinate. They avoid the very thing that will make them who they want to be. But here's the truth, that perfect time will never come. You will always feel a bit nervous. You will always feel the pull of distraction. The secret is that the professional doesn't wait for these things to go away, they show up anyway. The amateur lives in resistance, afraid of failure, of judgment, of doing it wrong. The professional recognizes resistance for what it is, an indicator that they are on the right path. When the amateur is stuck in indecision and doubt, the professional moves forward. Resistance is everywhere. It shows up in the form of procrastination, self-doubt, fear of failure, and even the overwhelming urge to take a nap. It's the voice inside your head that tells you you're not good enough, or you'll fail, or you're wasting your time. And it's loud. It's relentless. It seeks to keep you stuck, to keep you from your true calling. But here's the secret. The more resistance you face, the more important the work. That discomfort you feel, that internal struggle, that's the very thing that indicates you are on the verge of something great. Resistance only fights back when you are doing something meaningful. The professional doesn't fight resistance directly, they simply keep going, keep moving, keep working. They understand that the battle is not external but internal. It's the battle to show up when everything inside you tells you to quit. Chapter 2: The Nature of Resistance. Resistance doesn't always look like what you think. It doesn't always appear as fear, doubt, or hesitation. Sometimes, it looks like a shiny new distraction. The binge-worthy TV show. The endless scroll on social media. The "I'll start tomorrow" thought. But here's the thing, resistance will use any excuse to keep you from your best work. It doesn't care about your dreams. It only cares about keeping you comfortable, stagnant, and stuck. The professional sees resistance for what it is, a signal that they are about to make something important happen. The stronger the resistance, the greater the opportunity on the other side. When you feel the pull to quit, that's when you're closest to breakthrough. The professional doesn't wait for resistance to go away, they use it as fuel to push forward. Turning pro is not about waiting for inspiration to strike. It's about creating habits that keep you working day in and day out. The professional understands that success is built on the small, consistent actions you take. It's the habit of showing up. It's the ritual of doing the work, even when you don't feel like it. By making your practice non-negotiable, you remove the element of choice. You don't ask yourself, "Should I work today?" because the answer is always yes. You know that success is built on consistent effort, and you commit to the grind. If you're feeling that rush, that fire inside you, it's time to stop reading and start acting. The moment has arrived. This is your time to turn pro. Chapter 3: The Habits of the Professional. When you decide to turn pro, you step into a new rhythm. A rhythm that isn't based on motivation or how you feel that day. It's rooted in the decision to show up, regardless of external circumstances. Motivation comes and goes, but habit, the habit of doing the work, is what sustains the professional. A professional knows that nothing happens without effort. The simple act of showing up every day creates momentum, even on the days when inspiration feels like a distant memory. It's not about chasing inspiration. It's about creating it, through action. Your craft doesn't care if you feel tired, uninspired, or frustrated. It's waiting for you to show up. The professional makes the choice to keep working because they know this is where the magic happens. Not in the bursts of brilliance, but in the steady, consistent grind. While motivation is fleeting, discipline is what allows you to stay in the game when the excitement fades. The professional understands that to master their craft, they need discipline, day in and day out. Discipline is showing up when it's hard, when you don't feel like it, when you're not in the mood. Discipline is choosing the work over the distractions, over the easy paths that promise temporary satisfaction but lead nowhere. The professional doesn't wait for motivation to strike, they build a structure that keeps them moving forward regardless. They create a routine that supports their success, even when their energy feels low or their mind starts to wander. It's through this discipline that mastery is born. Chapter 4: Embracing Discomfort. If you want to turn pro, you must be willing to embrace discomfort. The comfort zone is the enemy of the professional. It lulls you into a state of complacency, keeping you safe, but never challenging you to grow. The amateur wants comfort. They want to avoid the struggle, to stay in their bubble of predictability and ease. But the professional knows that growth lies on the other side of discomfort. Success is never easy, and the professional understands this. They are willing to be uncomfortable, to feel the tension of stretching beyond what they know, because they understand that discomfort is the gateway to real progress. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, you grow. You break new ground. You challenge yourself. And every time you choose growth over comfort, you move one step closer to mastery. Acting in the face of discomfort requires courage, but the courage comes from knowing the truth that resistance will always be there, and it will always try to keep you small. But courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the ability to act despite it. The professional isn't fearless. They feel the fear, the discomfort, the uncertainty. But they act anyway. The professional has developed the courage to push through, to show up when the path isn't clear, and to trust that the work will lead them where they need to go. This is the power of consistent, courageous action. Chapter 5: The Professional's Mindset. Turning pro isn't just about the actions you take, it's about the mindset you cultivate. The professional's mindset is one of belief, determination, and resilience. It's about understanding that success is a journey, not a destination. When you decide to turn pro, you stop seeing yourself as a beginner, a wannabe, or an outsider. You begin to see yourself as a professional, someone who is worthy of success, someone who has the skills, the drive, and the ability to achieve greatness. The professional's mindset isn't about arrogance, it's about confidence rooted in reality. It's about knowing that the work is valuable, that your voice matters, and that your contribution is important. When you adopt this mindset, everything shifts. You stop doubting yourself and start trusting in the process. You stop waiting for validation from others and start validating yourself through your actions. Self-belief is the foundation of the professional's mindset. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe in your work, no one else will. Belief isn't just about thinking positive thoughts, it's about taking action with the confidence that you are moving in the right direction. The professional trusts their process. They don't wait for approval from the outside world. They trust that their work will find its audience, that their message will be heard, and that their efforts will lead to results. The professional knows that the journey isn't always linear, but with persistence and belief, the end result is inevitable. Chapter 6: Redefining Success. Success doesn't look the same for everyone. It's easy to look at someone else's life and think, that's what success looks like. But true success isn't about comparison or competition. It's about defining what success means to you and committing to that vision. The professional understands that success is not just about financial gain or fame. It's about fulfillment. It's about living a life aligned with your values, your passions, and your purpose. The professional doesn't chase external validation, they chase the work, the craft, and the satisfaction of knowing they are doing their best. Success is about being fully engaged in the process, regardless of the external outcome. The professional's measure of success is rooted in the work itself, whether they're getting better, growing, and constantly improving. The true measure of success is the peace of mind that comes from knowing you gave it everything you had every single day. Living the dream isn't a one-time event, it's a daily commitment. It's about waking up every day and doing the work you love, knowing that you are living in alignment with your purpose. The professional isn't waiting for some distant future to be happy. They are happy now because they're doing the work that matters to them. The dream isn't about fame or money, it's about fulfillment. It's about the joy of creating, the satisfaction of pushing yourself, and the knowledge that you are turning pro every single day. Chapter 7: The Resistance of the Ego. As you move closer to your goals, your ego will fight back. The ego doesn't want you to succeed. It doesn't want you to grow. The ego is built on comfort, safety, and the familiar. When you start pushing past your limits, when you start stepping into your greatness, the ego kicks in with its resistance. It will whisper doubts in your ear, telling you that you're not worthy, that you're not ready, or that failure is just around the corner. The amateur is ruled by the ego, always seeking approval, validation, and recognition from others. The professional knows that the ego must be managed, not indulged. The ego wants to protect you from the pain of failure, but the professional understands that failure is an essential part of success. It's not something to fear, it's something to embrace. The professional has learned to coexist with their ego, not fight against it. They acknowledge its presence but don't let it dictate their actions. They recognize that the ego is a part of them, but it does not control them. The professional stays grounded in their purpose, understanding that the work itself is the most important thing. Their identity is no longer tied to external validation or fear of judgment. They know that the ego will try to hold them back, but they press forward anyway, driven by their commitment to the craft, not by the fleeting praise or criticism of others. Chapter 8: The Role of Inspiration. Inspiration is a beautiful thing. It comes as a spark, a moment of clarity, a burst of energy that makes you feel like anything is possible. But here's the truth: you can't wait for inspiration to show up before you take action. Inspiration is fleeting, and if you only create when you're inspired, you'll never make progress. The professional knows that inspiration isn't the starting point, it's the result of action. By showing up and doing the work, you create the conditions for inspiration to flow. It's in the doing that the inspiration is born. The professional doesn't sit around waiting for the perfect moment. They create the moment by diving into the work. When you commit to doing the work, even on the days when inspiration is nowhere to be found, that's when you start to see the magic happen. A professional has a daily ritual that fuels their inspiration. Whether it's writing every morning, painting every evening, or practicing their craft, the professional knows that consistency is the key to unlocking their potential. They make time for their work, no matter how busy life gets. This ritual doesn't require motivation, it requires commitment. The professional has built a structure around their work that becomes a non-negotiable part of their day. They do it because they know that in the long run, consistency breeds success. Chapter 9: The Moment of Truth. Every professional faces a moment of doubt. It comes at different times for different people, but it always comes. It's the moment when you wonder if it's all worth it, when you question whether you're on the right path, or when you're faced with an obstacle so big that it seems insurmountable. This is the crisis of confidence. The professional feels it, too. They wonder if they're good enough. They wonder if their work will ever matter. But the professional doesn't let doubt paralyze them. They move through it, acknowledging it but not letting it control them. The key to moving through this moment of truth is to remember that this is just a part of the journey. It's the test you have to pass. Every time you push past that doubt, you grow stronger. Every time you show up despite your fear, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more. The professional knows that perseverance is the ultimate weapon against doubt. Success isn't about being perfect or flawless, it's about showing up consistently and pushing through the hard times. The professional doesn't let setbacks define them. They keep moving forward, one step at a time, even when it feels like progress is slow. Perseverance is about understanding that the road to success is long, and there will be moments of struggle along the way. But the professional knows that every setback is just a setup for a comeback. It's not about avoiding failure, it's about learning from it and using it to fuel future success. Chapter 10: The Commitment to Mastery. The professional understands that their work is never finished in the traditional sense. The goal is mastery, not perfection. Mastery is the journey of constant improvement, where the bar is always being raised, and the work never stops evolving. There's always something new to learn, a higher level to reach, and a deeper understanding to achieve. The amateur, on the other hand, is often satisfied with reaching a certain level and then resting on their laurels. They see their work as a series of checkpoints. Once they reach a certain milestone, they stop striving. But the professional doesn't rest. They know that mastery is a lifelong commitment. Becoming a professional means dedicating yourself to continual learning, growth, and improvement. Every day is an opportunity to get better, to push the boundaries of your craft, and to refine your skills. The pursuit of mastery never ends. Complacency is the enemy of progress. The professional never allows themselves to feel good enough. They are always seeking the next challenge, the next obstacle to overcome, the next skill to develop. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you've arrived, but this is the moment when the professional steps up the most. There will always be another level to achieve, and the professional knows that getting comfortable is a recipe for stagnation. Mastery requires discomfort, continuous effort, and relentless dedication. This is the difference between the amateur and the professional. Chapter 11: The Power of Showing Up. One of the most powerful tools in the professional's arsenal is the simple act of showing up. The act of committing to the work, day after day, builds a quiet strength. It's the strength of consistency, of refusing to let distractions, doubts, or fears stop you. It's the power of showing up, even when the results aren't immediately visible, even when it feels like you're not making progress. The professional understands that consistency, over time, will produce results. It's the process, not the immediate reward, that matters. It's about being persistent, doing the work even when no one is watching, even when you don't feel inspired, and even when the path ahead seems uncertain. Successful professionals have built their lives around their work. They've created rituals, routines that support their focus and productivity. These rituals aren't about being busy for the sake of being busy. They are designed to put the professional in the right mindset, to prime them for success. Whether it's a morning ritual that sets the tone for the day, a deep work session without distractions, or a reflective practice that keeps them grounded, these rituals are the backbone of the professional's success. They create a space where work can be done with purpose, focus, and energy. Through these rituals, the professional reinforces their commitment to the process and strengthens their ability to keep showing up. Chapter 12: The Need for Accountability. While the professional works primarily for themselves, they understand the power of external accountability. No one can do it alone. The professional doesn't work in isolation, they seek feedback, they share their progress, and they connect with other like-minded individuals. Having someone to hold you accountable adds an extra layer of motivation. It's not about needing someone else to tell you what to do, it's about creating a support system that pushes you to be your best. The professional understands the value of feedback, even when it's critical. They are open to constructive criticism because they know it's necessary for growth. They also know that having someone to cheer them on, to push them when they feel like quitting, is a game changer. Whether it's a mentor, a coach, or a colleague, accountability is a powerful tool for anyone looking to turn pro. The amateur often works in isolation, avoiding feedback, criticism, and external influence. They believe they can do it all themselves. But this self-imposed isolation can lead to stagnation. It can lead to blind spots in your work, areas that need improvement, and weaknesses that you can't see. The professional embraces collaboration. They welcome outside perspectives, knowing that it will only make them better. Isolation is a comfort zone for amateurs, but it's the professional who knows that growth comes from connection and accountability. Chapter 13: The Professional's Value System. One of the key differences between the amateur and the professional is the professional's value system. The professional's work isn't just about achieving external success, it's about aligning the work with their deeper values and purpose. The amateur is often driven by external rewards, money, recognition, fame. These are fleeting, and chasing them can lead to burnout and dissatisfaction. But the professional works from a place of purpose, passion, and meaning. They connect deeply with their craft and let their work be a reflection of their core values. When you turn pro, you stop chasing the superficial markers of success and start focusing on the work that truly fulfills you. The professional understands that fulfillment comes not from what you get, but from what you give through your work. The professional is ultimately focused on service, serving the world with their work. They understand that their talent, their creativity, and their skill are meant to make a contribution. The professional isn't just concerned with personal gain, they are driven by the desire to add value, to make a difference, and to use their work to help others. This sense of purpose is what fuels the professional to keep going, even on the tough days. It's what makes their work meaningful and fulfilling. Chapter 14: The Ongoing Journey. Turning pro isn't a one-time decision. It's a lifelong commitment. The work never truly ends. The professional understands that the journey is never over. With each milestone, there's a new challenge to face, a new level to reach. There is no finish line to cross, because the pursuit of mastery is a process that continues throughout your life. The professional accepts this. They know that the journey will be filled with ups and downs, that there will be moments of triumph and moments of frustration. But they also know that the pursuit is what matters most. As long as you are committed to your craft, you are a professional. And as long as you are committed to growth, you are always moving forward. The professional knows that their work is their legacy. They aren't concerned with how they'll be remembered, but they are concerned with the impact they'll have on the world through their work. The professional is driven by the desire to leave something behind that matters, a body of work that will stand the test of time. Your legacy is the work you leave behind, the impact you have on those who experience it, and the difference you make in the lives of others. The professional knows that this is the true measure of success. Chapter 15: The Art of Focus. One of the greatest challenges of turning pro in the modern world is managing distractions. From endless social media updates to emails, notifications, and a culture of constant multitasking, focus is harder than ever to maintain. But the professional knows that without focus, there can be no progress. The professional must protect their time, their energy, and their attention. Distractions are the enemy of creativity and productivity. The professional understands that the key to doing great work is the ability to focus on what matters, to give their full attention to the task at hand, and to shut out the noise. This requires discipline, a willingness to say no to distractions, and the ability to create an environment that fosters deep work. The professional takes control of their environment, whether that's by creating a quiet workspace, setting boundaries with others, or simply learning to block out distractions during focused work sessions. Focus becomes a deliberate choice, not a passive condition. Focus is a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed and strengthened over time. The more you practice focus, the easier it becomes to enter a state of flow and create your best work. But to get to that point, you must first train yourself to focus, to be present in the moment, and to tune out anything that might interrupt your concentration. The professional understands that their time is the most valuable asset they have. They know that every moment of focus is an investment in their future success. This is why the professional doesn't waste time. They know that by staying focused, they are getting closer to their goals, one task at a time. Chapter 16: The Courage to Act. The amateur is ruled by fear. The fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of rejection. But the professional knows that fear is a natural part of the process. They understand that fear doesn't go away, what changes is their relationship with it. The professional doesn't let fear paralyze them. Instead, they acknowledge it and take action anyway. Every professional faces moments of fear, a fear that the work will not be good enough, fear that it won't be received well, fear that they are not qualified. But the difference between the amateur and the professional is how they handle that fear. The professional embraces it. They do the work despite their fear, knowing that action is the antidote to fear. The courage to act doesn't mean the absence of fear, it means taking action in spite of it. A common misconception is that in order to be successful, you need to achieve monumental feats or dramatic breakthroughs. While big wins are exciting, it's often the small, incremental victories that accumulate over time and lead to lasting success. The professional understands the power of small wins. They break their goals down into manageable steps and celebrate each victory along the way. Each small win is a confirmation that they are on the right track, that their work is making an impact, and that they are capable of achieving greater things. The professional focuses on the process, not just the outcome. They know that small wins lead to big results over time. Every day they show up, every day they take action, and every day they make progress, they are moving closer to their ultimate goal. Chapter 17: Overcoming Resistance. Resistance is a constant companion on the road to mastery. It comes in many forms: self-doubt, procrastination, perfectionism, fear, and every other excuse we can come up with to avoid doing the work. But resistance is also a sign that you're on the right path. If you're feeling resistance, it means you're pushing yourself to grow, to step outside your comfort zone, and to take on a challenge. The amateur succumbs to resistance. They give in to procrastination, they make excuses, and they avoid the work. The professional, however, knows that resistance is inevitable. They understand that it's part of the process. Rather than trying to avoid it, the professional faces it head-on and does the work anyway. Overcoming resistance isn't about waiting for the perfect conditions or feeling motivated. It's about showing up every day, no matter how you feel, and doing the work regardless of the obstacles in your way. The greater the resistance, the greater the opportunity for growth. Resistance is a signal that your work is important, that it matters, and that you are doing something worthwhile. The professional embraces this idea. They see resistance not as a roadblock, but as a sign that they're doing something significant. The professional doesn't view resistance as something to avoid, but rather something to overcome. It's a measure of their commitment and a sign that they're moving in the right direction. Chapter 18: The professional's focus on the craft. The professional cares more about their craft than they do about the result. They don't measure their success based on the external rewards or recognition, they measure it based on how well they've honed their skill and the quality of their work. The amateur is often obsessed with the outcome, with the money, the accolades, the recognition. But the professional knows that the real reward is in the process. They understand that the only way to create something truly valuable is to pour their heart and soul into the work itself, not the external validation that may come afterward. Mastery of the craft is the ultimate goal. The professional is driven by the desire to become the best at what they do, and they know that this requires relentless practice, commitment, and dedication. Chapter 19: The Reward of the Professional. As the professional continues their journey, they start to see the rewards. These rewards may not be immediate, but they are undeniable. They come in the form of mastery, confidence, and a deep sense of fulfillment. The professional understands that the real reward isn't fame or fortune, it's the joy of doing the work you love day in and day out. The professional knows that true success comes from the satisfaction of knowing they've done their best. They've dedicated themselves to their craft, and that's the reward that keeps them going. It's the quiet pride of knowing that you've stayed the course, despite the challenges, the setbacks, and the moments of doubt. The professional begins to live in the flow. Their work becomes a seamless extension of themselves. They no longer struggle to get started or question whether they're on the right path. They've moved beyond resistance, beyond doubt, and into a state where the work becomes an expression of who they are. This is the ultimate reward, the ability to work with ease, to move through challenges without fear, and to create something that truly matters. The professional lives in a state of flow, where the work is both the journey and the destination. Chapter 20: Creating Your Legacy. Legacy isn't about being remembered by others, it's about creating something meaningful during your lifetime. For the professional, the work itself is the legacy. It's the impact their work has on others, the lessons they pass on, and the contributions they make to their craft. A professional doesn't create for fame or wealth. They create because they believe in the importance of their work. Their legacy is in the lives they touch, the value they bring, and the standard of excellence they set. In the end, the professional doesn't measure their success by the recognition they receive, but by the depth of their impact and the quality of the work they leave behind. It's not about what they get, it's about what they give. Conclusion. The call to action. You've heard the call. You've felt the pull. Now, it's time to act. It's time to stop waiting. It's time to turn pro. Turning pro doesn't mean waiting for the perfect moment or the right circumstances. It means making the decision right now to show up, every day, to do the work that matters. It means embracing the discomfort, the struggle, and the resistance as part of the journey. It means committing to the process, no matter how long it takes or how difficult it becomes. The world is waiting for your gifts, for your contribution. It's time to stop holding back. It's time to stop playing small. It's time to turn pro.